Hi everyone, welcome back. The season is dwindling down to its last legs, and we are back, of course, for another Bundesliga and A-League review, although at this point there's so little football to actually talk properly about, it might as well be a 10-minute highlight video. What say you, Ben? How are you this fine day?
I'm good. Just started a new job last week, so pretty zoned out in terms of everything else. Just sort of trying to catch up with all the news and what took place over the weekend. Obviously, some big results and some even bigger results for a certain part of the table, and we're probably going to cover a fair chunk of that, I think, in our chat tonight. So, but no, otherwise pretty good.
Yeah. We'll waste no time and jump right into it. We will let the viewers know now we're at a point. There's a couple of results we're going to gloss over quickly and then talk about the games that really do have something riding on them at this late stage of the season. First of all, you got the Dortmund-Frankfurt game. Good 3-2 win for Dortmund, but yeah, it's one of those games where they're comfortable in second. Frankfurt, they're having a poor end to the season, but they haven't had the greatest of seasons consistency-wise. Another one, the Augsburg-Gladbach game. Look, Augsburg still have an outside chance of European football, which I have to say is remarkable in their turnaround. But still, realistically, there wasn't an awful lot riding on that game either, was there, Ben?
Not really, no.
Yeah.
It's sort of like we talked about this just a moment ago, like not a lot of the games sort of have any really deep meaning, I suppose, in terms of ladder positions, and that's been the case except for maybe the probably sixth to maybe third for a little while.
Yeah.
But there's not a whole lot to play for with the final weekend coming up. But hey, it's still going to be a really good one. So why don't we dive in?
A couple more. Hamburg obviously beating Freiburg, ending their home season. I should say, with a good solid performance and win at home. Good solid return to the top flight for them against a Freiburg side who, let's face it, are gearing up for a momentous occasion in Europe in a couple of weeks' time. I will have to mention that. I know it's not Bundesliga, but fair credit Freiburg. Very good job, and they're going to be playing Aston Villa in that Europa League final, of course, and it's going to be I reckon that's going to be a good old game, that is. I'm hoping Freiburg get the win, because it would be massive for them to get into the Champions League. And obviously we had that that Mainz Union game, and it happened like we said it would. She has got herself a win, a solid performance as well from Union, I have to say, against a Mainz side who, even though they're not mathematically safe, are kind of thinking at themselves, well, they are now actually after other results, but up and going into their game, maybe thinking, what, let's just hit the beach already. We've dug in long enough this season. But yeah, fair credit to Union. She got her first win as manager, so that's massive for her and for the league and for football as a whole, I guess. So yeah,
and I guess credit. I mean, I'll get on to mine sort of later on, but I think credit goes to them as well for what they've done. I've talked about that really boring 0-0 draw just before the break against us, and probably one of the worst games I've seen all season. And they're now in 10th, and they were bottom. They were bottom and winless at that stage.
Oh, Mainz,
late sort of mid-December.
Yeah.
So credit goes to Urs Fischer and everyone involved there. They've managed to turn around, and they've sort of been a bit of the blueprint, I suppose, for those sort of teams. Hamburg's another one that's shown that they can, it is possible to avoid the drop nice and early, and credit to them.
And one other game I'll slightly gloss over. Obviously, there is still some Champions League conversations riding over Hoffenheim. They have the advantage going into the last game of the season. A solid performance, not glitzy like they've been to this season, but one where they got the job done against a now safe Bremen side who've just done enough to stay up. For Hoffenheim, of course, they've still got one more game to absolutely make sure of that Champions League qualification, but they're in the driving seat. That will basically cover the games which have less riding on them, and now we'll dig into the remaining games that really had a lot riding on them, and we'll start like we have for the last few weeks of where all the action is in the Bundesliga in this late stage of the season, and boy is it there now. The good old relegation battle, and unfortunately, Ben, you've fallen prey to this for the last month, I'd say, of reviews, but support a team who does a little better, and maybe we won't talk about your team first up every single damn time.
Nah, I laugh at that comment, Chester, because my Phoenix mates were talking, and then my Carlton mates as well. One of them messaged the other day in our WhatsApp chat saying, something along the lines of, we've been through I'm going to support Hawthorn now. And I think I said something along the lines of, I can't change my team. I enjoy my weekly torture sessions or therapy sessions or whatever, and it's true. So same goes to my Bundesliga team. But
I will say, Saints are giving you a lot more. At least it may not be consistent, but at least they're giving you some ports of joy. I can't remember the last time St Pauli made you smile at a game of football. It's probably been that long.
Beating Stuttgart at home, I think it was, but it's been pretty horrible the rest of the time, and I'll sort of get onto that. But
we'll get into your game then. Obviously, you fell to what was an inevitable defeat. It was a close game, but once again, not enough shown until the very end of the game, when at that point it was pretty much too little, too late again. Mm-hmm. And how many times has that been the case this season? Leipzig had enough to get the job done. That pretty much means they're playing Champions League football next season, so congrats to them to get back into the big time. But for you guys, you're now at the foot of the table and you are not in a good position heading into now what is an absolute must-win against Wolfsburg on the final weekend next week.
Every sense of the word. I mean, look, I knew we were going to be up against it, and the first sort of half an hour was pretty promising, and it's the story of the season really, because look, Martin, and look, credit to Blessing for doing what I've been calling for a while. He dropped not only Karel Metz, but Helke Waal was benched as well. I could have told you that about 6 weeks ago.
Yeah, but that's the thing. It's too late again, isn't it?
Exactly. It is too late. But and I didn't realise we'd played with a 3-5-2 formation for most of the season. I thought we'd gone with one up front for most of the year. But Hatonji and Kars were actually pretty good together. I think this will be their last game together this weekend, because I just don't think they're going to be playing, unless it's in the second division maybe, and it could be. I'm hoping it's not. But it's one of those things again where we look pretty good and we have a gilt-edged chance to score, and Kars hits the fucking crossbar. No, it was, of all the space you've got to put the ball in the back of the net, you hit the fucking crossbar. And what do you think happens after that? Not long after Leipzig go one up, and I should be if I wasn't in the job I'm in now,
and not
I
only
could be
that,
like a psychic.
Not only that, but the goal scorer as well. Nothing to discredit him. I still think he's a decent player for Leipzig. Not amazing, but he's not known for being prolific in front of goal, is he? Old Zaverschlager. But
no. Well, I thought
one in against you guys.
Well, I thought his name was Xavier until I just read the thing. So, but we've done a bit of that this year. We've had guys that haven't really scored too many goals playing against us, and we feed them. So, we make them look good. So, but in terms of, I'm not going to gloss on this game too much, because it's basically a lot of the stuff I've been talking about for weeks now, and it's just getting a little bit more like a broken record. But what I will say is this: I've been posting on the club's Instagram page daily, and I did again today, basically imploring them to score. Look, get the team. I got an idea.
If you want to give them a G up before your game this week, you should probably translate everything you write daily now into German, so that maybe the admin can probably understand it.
Well, I'm sure they probably can.
Yeah, but it wouldn't hurt. Just translate whatever you say into German and post it in German.
Yep. Yeah. There's an ad for Google Translate right there. We'll let the team bus and park it in front of the Wolfsburg goal. I'm genuinely concerned about this game. I really am. And we did talk about the possibility, or more than possibility, that we might actually do an episode.
Not like a live stream, in a weird way,
like a
recorded watch-along.
Well, recorded watch-along, because if it's anything like the reactions when I'm sitting on my own, like with my own thoughts, watching them play, it's going to be hilarious, watching it back, and I suppose everyone else sort of, it's just, you saw the Saints live stream the other week and how bad I was in that for a while, but in terms of Leipzig, good on them, but moving on to Saturday night, look, it's the biggest game, I think, in the club's history, probably since that game against Osnabrück, when we actually won the title, or Wiesbaden, or whoever it was that we won, the second last game, anyway. I think it's as big as that, because, we know what there is to play for. We've shot ourselves in the foot so many times this year. We've run out of bullets. There's only so many band-aids you can put on your body to cover the holes up. That's how bad the season's been, and they've got one shot, one opportunity to fix it. And
I mean, that's the thing, really, isn't it? And what intrigues me about this game that you have coming up is we've never seen it from Blessing. Not last season, not this season. Not enough going for it. And as far as I'm concerned, there is nothing to gain from coming out against Wolfsburg and playing like he usually tries to play, because it's not like playing for a draw keeps you up. Like, it doesn't. It had, like, you win, you get the playoff spot. You don't win, you get relegated. That's what it basically comes down to now.
I agree. And I guess it probably annoys me more, like, two particular results. So I come back to that Dortmund game where Jones gave away that late penalty at the end and we could have had a point. And the game against Köln a couple of weeks ago where it was probably our best game attacking-wise for ages, and just dumb shit cost us. And this is where we are now, and it's why we are where we are now, because it's our own fault. But there is, like I said, there's that opportunity to fix it, and yes, it's only the playoff, but still, it's something, right?
Yeah.
It's a whole new ballgame, and I mean, look, credit to Wolfsburg. I have to talk about Wolfsburg a little bit, I suppose, too, but
yeah, we'll shortly get onto those other two games down the bottom, or for the involving teams down the bottom, I should say. But just last thing on yours before we move on, look, obviously we weren't expecting you to get anything really from this game, and we knew that it wasn't going to decide the season regardless. We always knew from the last couple of weeks that it was going to go down to the last week, and obviously it has. But yeah, as I said, like it's got to be a point where this game, there's not like going out there,
nothing to play
going out there, going out there and taking risk is your only way you're going to win this game, because there's no difference between sitting back playing like you usually do and getting beaten or drawing to it is going out there to have a go and maybe getting caught on the break and losing 4-0. Like, it makes no fucking difference. Ultimately, the difference is if you go out there to have a go and end up winning. That's where the difference is. Like, if you're 1-0 up and it's the 85th minute, then I understand parking the bus. But going out there to sit back and be timid and not have a go is what I would just be completely baffled at if that's the game plan this Saturday, because it does not keep you up if that's the game plan. No. Trying to soak up attacks, it's not what you want to do. Like, Wolfsburg are going to be hungry to win, needing a win themselves to stay up. I mean, to be fair, there's the off chance that a draw does keep them up, depending on the Heidelberg result, but Heidenheim result, sorry.
Shout out to the Burgers.
Heidenheim result. But I imagine Wolfsburg are going to be going for the win, as I expect you should be as well.
It's not a case of we should be, we have to. We simply have to.
Yeah.
And look, it's going to be a packed house at the Milan Tour. The atmosphere there all season, win, lose or draw, has been epic from the games that I've watched, and I expect the big.
That's the one thing that could be in your favour: home advantage. The fans could be. Whilst Blessing might not have the balls to go for it, the fans might G the team on enough to just go for it and ignore his instructions. And also, one last thing to rub more salt into the wounds of St Pauli fans. Fabian Herzler signing a new contract extension with Brighton, with them on the brink of getting into Europe under him this season.
I did say on one of the Brighton fan pages, he's welcome to come back and fix up the mess that we've left now that he's gone. So that won't happen. But I mean, the last thing on this from me is I'll be interested to see the lineup going into the game, or whether it's going to be similar. I mean, Lewis Hoppe started for the first game in a while. Pierre started. I know how much you love him. Ritzke, Smith and Ando, I don't mind that.
I like Ritzke. I do think he's one who's got the quality to be in the Bundesliga, in my opinion. But
I don't mind Saliakis either, but Metcalf starting as well. I mean, Pereira Lage would have taken his spot if he was fit, so he might, they might put the faith in him to get that opportunity. He knows how to score. So, if ever there's a week for Jackson Irvine to score his first Bundesliga goal, mate, King of Ringwood, like, please, dude, this is your opportunity, just go out there and just give him hell lads, and if you guys want to see me in all my emotional glory,
I'll give you a German. I'll give you a German phrase that you can use to really spur them on. Auf geht's! Auf geht's, Pauli!
Auf who?
Auf geht's.
Ah, right.
Auf geht's.
Ah, right. As in, let's go?
Yeah, it's basically,
Okay, yeah.
Auf geht's!
Yeah.
Ja, Mann! Auf geht's, der Mannschaft!
Yes. Das ist gut, yes. But yeah, it's going to be a massive game, and I mean we've got a couple of others to talk about, so we might as well jump into the other.
Yeah, we'll jump into the others
of equal importance.
Yeah, so we took on Wolfsburg in a very uninspiring Bayern performance, but relatively dominant. I have to admit, I did not watch it. I was an idiot. Was going to watch it. I'd watched the United game earlier that morning. Went to make breakfast and stuff. Came back and then stupidly opened my YouTube and saw the fucking Bayern result right there, like an idiot, and forgot to watch it. But look, I've seen the highlights. It looked like a bit of a hangover from obviously getting eliminated by PSG midweek. The treble's over, guys, unfortunately, but look, we're still in the Pokal final, so we still got that. But yeah, look, just really Wolfsburg had a crack, but I mean, we were largely dominant. I will say the goal from Elise was absolutely beautiful, like it's most of the goals he scores. But yeah, look, again, just like when you guys playing Leipzig, Wolfsburg playing us, they weren't expected to get anything from it. Obviously, having looked at Heidenheim's result, but especially performance against us last week, maybe they would have thought they could have a crack at it. Wasn't to be. So, I mean, there wasn't too much more going on that game because it wasn't like any shock happened there. I mean, unless you wanted to say anything about that game.
Not particularly. I mean, I will say a couple of things. I did see bits of it. I think I'd said to you the day before the day of the game that having you guys beat them 8-1 last time. I said if you could, given the fact our goal difference before our game was I think 3.
Yeah.
Oh no, it was 3 or 5, either or.
Yeah.
I said to you, if you can win by that sort of margin, that'd be great for us. And what happens? Not only did you only win 1-0, Harry fucking Kane.
Missed the penalty,
Missed the fucking... Not just misses it, but completely misses the goal. Absolutely skies it. Like, dude, you're not at Spurs anymore. You can score those. But, I mean, credit to Wolfsburg. They had more to play for, I suppose, in terms of getting more out of the game. And obviously, not getting thumped didn't help our cause, but it did help their cause. And, they've got to come to Hamburg and the Colosseum, and we'll see what sort of style they play. They only need a draw.
I mean, as I said earlier, I imagine they're going to go for the win. They've looked decent in recent weeks, and I think someone with the experience in the Bundesliga like Dieter Hecking has, I do put them as strong favourites. As I said earlier, the only thing I think that goes in your favour is home advantage here. Mm-hmm. Because I don't trust Blessing to tell your team to go out there and attack. I don't trust him to try and soak up pressure and just nick a win, which is just the wrong approach in this sort of game. But yeah. But speaking of the other team down the bottom and the turnaround they've had, and yet again an absolutely brilliant performance, genuinely, Frank Schmidt's admission of relegation 2 or so months out from the end of the season has been one of the best managerial tactical decisions possibly in the history of German football. Possibly.
Unbelievable.
My God, who'd have thought a coach admitting relegation with 2 or so months to play that's what makes the players go, you know what, guys? Just because our coach has given up, we're not going to give up. Gave them the kick up the arse they needed, and my word, are they delivering, because they genuinely look like one of the best teams in the league right now. And I'm saying that from the perspective of how they played against us, how they played against Cologne, games as well before that. The run they've been on, the turnaround they've had, they're now in that playoff spot. And on current form, gonna finish in that playoff spot. And on current form, you'd think going to get through the playoff for the second season running and yet again remain a Bundesliga side, and fair credit to them if it ends up like that as one of the Bundesliga's greatest ever late season comebacks from a team, because it was only around a month and a half ago they were basically gone for all counts, out of the
absolutely.
top flight. They've been bottom pretty
Yeah.
much most of the season, bar a month or two earlier on when Mainz occupied that spot. Other than that, they've basically been bottom since the conclusion of the winter break. And gone, and now all of a sudden they look like they're going to win every single time they play a game of football. So it's crazy how good they are.
It is, and it's what we talked about, that reverse psychology from Frank Schmidt. I think it would have been a month or two ago to say, "Oh, we know we're pretty much like relegated." That was a masterstroke for mine. Just whether it was
the thing is, did he mean it, or is he looking at the performances now and kind of going like, "Oh my god, I can't believe that's actually worked"?
Could be either. It wouldn't be surprised either way, really. But apologies. Who knows? But what we do know is they're well and truly in this fight now. But the club I want to talk about now is Mainz. Just for a second, guys. You know what you have to.
But, in
terms of this weekend, you know what you have to do? Please fucking do it. Because, I'm selfish and I want my club to stay up. I don't care what it takes, at what cost, who gets trampled along the way. Just, Nike, just do it. Just do it.
I don't want to burst your bubble, but I don't feel that's going to be the case. I kind of feel that Heidenheim... I mean, that's the other thing we got to mention. Even a win might not be enough for you guys if Heidenheim win their game, of course. That's the other thing to take into account. I mean, I'll double check what the goal difference is like. Oh wait, never mind. No, you've got a level goal difference.
Yeah.
So it could get really tasty then, because a win for you might just about be enough, depending on how much you're going to beat Wolfsburg by, right? It's incredible how tight it is. All a level on 26 points at the bottom, the three of you. All have won 6 games this season. All have drawn 8 games this season. All have lost 19 games this season. And Wolfsburg's goal difference, negative 26. Yours and Heidenheim's, negative 29. I mean, it could not be any close. I mean, it could be closer, but that's a goal difference thing.
Yeah. There's one other thing, speaking of the table as I'm looking at it now, there's one other thing that goes in our favour in terms of these other two sides. We've actually got a better defence than both of them. So
also, I just want to point out as well, Heidenheim have won 6 games now this season. 3 of those wins have come in their last 5.
Yeah. It's been unbelievable. But in terms of, and look, the fact that they've conceded 70 goals to this point and they're still in a position where they can survive, or at least to the playoffs anyway, is remarkable.
Well, that's because of that turnaround at the back end of the season.
Yeah.
It kind of shows in football, it doesn't matter how you start, it matters how you finish. And they kept themselves close enough.
Yeah.
And albeit relying on luck from other results, from you and Wolfsburg being quite poor. Well, Wolfsburg a little better recently, but overall quite poor over the second half of the season.
Yeah. Well, Wolfsburg was 68 conceded and we've only had 57. Yes, we can't score to save ourselves, but I'm hanging my hat on that because I'm trying to find whatever sort of positive I can. But I think I'm pretty sure it's a Heidenheim home game as well. So that's going to be a boost for them. They've actually done pretty well at home, so especially in the back half of the season.
You're just looking at those players Ziv Shevadze has been instrumental in this run of theirs of late.
Stefan Schimmer.
He hasn't really featured that much, really. Ziv Shevadze has been the one. I mean, he was instrumental against Mainz. He was probably their best player against us, probably one of the best players on the pitch against us, never mind there for them. Schöbner, he had 2 goals, of course, in their game against in their game this weekend, just gone. He's been good in this run-in. Like, Patrick Meinker's another one who's been very solid at the back for them. Like, they've got players who are really just digging in, and Honzak, another one. Players who are just, making it difficult for their opposition, and that's why they're in the position they're in.
Ramai and goal.
That's the relegation battle, basically. It's really going down to the wire and in such an interesting fashion. There's just one more game of last week to talk about, and that is the Champions League battle. A big game between Stuttgart and Leverkusen, it has to be said. And Stuttgart have taken the Champions League with both hands, and Leverkusen's Champions League hopes are now hanging on by a bare thread. They are. With that win from Stuttgart, and my word, it was an impressive performance, really, wasn't it, from start to finish from Stuttgart. Leverkusen took the lead, but that was about it. A really early goal from Alex Garcia, and beyond that, Stuttgart did not look back. after that point. They dominated the game from that point on, deservedly won, and Leverkusen, Champions League football is fading and fast for them. It's up against them now. They've got Hamburg, obviously, at home. You'd expect them to probably win that, but then you're looking at the Stuttgart play Frankfurt. Frankfurt don't look like they're interested really at this stage of the season. No. And Hoffenheim away at Gladbach again could be tough, but again, Gladbach safe, nothing to play for really. It looks to be like it's going to be Hoffenheim and Stuttgart, battling for that Champions League, that fourth and final Champions League spot. So it is going to be interesting to see who gets it in the end. But for Leverkusen, look, if any of those two slip up, they'll have to win to pounce. But they're pretty much all but gone in that regard now. Yeah,
nice to see Dennis Undev back on the score sheet as well.
That too, yeah. Ahead of the World Cup, of course, where I expect him to feature for Germany and potentially be a good figure in that attack for them in this World Cup.
Most definitely.
But that will wrap up our Bundesliga portion. As I said, not as much to talk about. We still almost got half an hour out of it. But that mainly was about 20 minutes talking about St Pauli. But as always, guys, if you made it this far, don't forget to give us a like, share, subscribe, and all that good stuff. I'm waving the one that's a pencil. We'll move on to the A-League, of which there was a grand total of 2 games, again, to talk about, both of which 1-1, again, in typical A-League fashion. The Adelaide-Auckland game first, again, pretty bog-standard Adelaide result, really, wasn't it, Ben?
Yeah, it was, but, things are getting serious now, and, Adelaide's got a really good chance of making it through.
Well, I did say, and I stick to my prediction. Excuse me. No, you yawned and now I'm finally catching up. We're all back on track, people. But anyway, by my prediction, I did say boldly that Jets and Adelaide would not make the grand final, and I'm going to stick by that with both games evenly balanced going into the second leg.
Well, your team's still in it, so you have to say that, I guess, right? So
I'm annoyed we should have won. I thought we were much the better team against Newcastle. Just conceded a sloppy goal in the end on the break, but once again, the same old problems. Not creating enough, not being brave enough going forward. I did like what I saw from Stamatolopoulos this time round, though, of course, and I hope that continues, because he kind of showed a bit more about what we thought we were going to get when we signed him in January. So hopefully there's more of that to come. And Joe Lolly being back, hopefully he's fit to start this next game. And so look, I'm still not giving up hope. One thing I will say, whether or not we make the grand final, whether or not we make it and win it, I'm happy for Paddy Kismorbo to stay on next season, and I hope Sydney FC feel the same way, because I kind of think if we just add a bit more creativity and potency into our attack, we're a shoo-in to win the league under him next season, because outside of the attack, we've had no issues elsewhere on the pitch with him. Defensively, we've been solid. We've only conceded in 2 of the 5 games he's been in charge for. It's remarkable, really. Goalkeeping, look, Devon Ishmael is a well-deserved Goalkeeper of the Year award, and I said he was a good keeper last year. My other friends who were Sydney fans were adamant that he wasn't that good, and I was adamant that he was, and he's proven it with a well-deserved Goalkeeper of the Year, so good on you, Harry.
I was going to say, does Wahid rate him or not? I said, does Wahid rate him or not? No, I said, does Wahid rate Devon? Yeah, he does, but I did see, I meant to send this to you today, but I think they're looking at, was it Gambo Osaka's manager, is it Wissing or someone? Sydney possibly, so, I guess Sydney, because Nuremberg will be Wissing that's here, makes the big dance next week potentially. So that was a terrible joke, but I'm sticking with it. But look, it's going to be a really interesting weekend, and I think from an Adelaide point of view, they can't ask for much more. They've got a home ground advantage, and we know what a fortress that ground's been over the years of their real dominant years at Coopers. I've been there myself. It's a shithole, but it's their shithole. So if it helps them to sort of get over the line, and who knows with Auckland, they got to this stage last season, they fucking bottled it, right? Yeah. So against victory on their own deck. So will the script change away from home in the same situation? We don't know. And as for as for you guys, I mean, look, Newcastle, I think it'd be pretty funny if they shit the bed, to be perfectly honest. If the
only thing I'm worried about is our recent away form hasn't been great. We haven't been great at getting on the ball away from home, and that worries me against a team like Newcastle who have the attacking prowess that they do. So I'm hoping we get on the front foot and get at them like we did in this first leg, because if we sit back, I'm worried that will eliminate us. I think just like St Pauli, like the only way we're going to win this game is by going at them and really putting them to the sword, and hopefully having the clinical edge to put them away earlier in the game this time.
Yeah, no, I think so. But I mean, it's always often the way with travelling teams. I mean, look, victory last season. I don't like to mention them too much, but I will. I mean, no one thought they were going to beat Auckland to make the grand final last year, and they did. And there's every chance that you guys could, go up the M3 or whatever it's called, and F3 and go and take the points, and stop off at Macca's on Newcastle. Macca's in Newcastle on the way back on the train, and happy days. So but it's going to be massive for Newcastle and McDonald Jones Stadium. I don't know how big a crowd they get, and I haven't really paid attention to how big crowds they've got, but will they get Shannon Knoll to come and sing it pre-match again? Who knows? But it's going to be massive for the town. It's going to be massive for them. I have been there once as a former Victory supporter. It's an okay stadium, but it's in the boonies, I guess. So it's like Lambton or whatever it's called. But it's going to be massive, and as for City, I'll be interested to see sort of what the playing looks like next year. I mean, Ferreira is gone, but I did see that Brisbane Roar they're getting rid of about 10 or 11 players already. Fine's already on his way, but they're not wasting any time. So D'Agostino and some others, I think, are going. So they're not mucking around. So
yeah. I mean, look, that'll wrap up the football portion. As I said, there's getting less and less to talk about. So we might as well, Ben, take the floor. How's AFL? How's Saints?
Not too bad, except for the fact that we travelled to Darwin on Saturday night and had a really good first quarter and lost by 29. But there's caveats and asterisks all over that.
Did that
game.
Player of the Gold Coast, did he cook you up? Did he?
Which one?
The one, the one I'm talking about. The one you should have signed.
Petrarca.
Yeah.
He was okay, but Ben King, who's the brother of the guy that we've got who can't get on the park, he didn't do too bad. The good King that they, as we say, so the one whose body doesn't let him down and hasn't missed 2.5 years of footy. Look, he has done an ACL, so, but he's leading the Coleman Medal, the goal scorer, the goal kickers award at the moment, or is right up there, but. I've got some gripes, so I'm going to go through them. So, I always like to say, there's no excuses for losing games, but this, like I said, has asterisks all over it. We went into the game with our best player who flew up and didn't play. We lost our best defender, who I lauded in the live stream.
Yeah, those of you who remember the live stream, he was like non-stop going on about how he's never missed a game.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that runs in.
Yeah, he may well be watching from the stands this week. So, Cal Wilkie, look, magnesium or whatever, hot springs, whatever it takes, mate, get out there because we need you. But the other thing was Darwin in early May, and I think I said to you, because you asked how the conditions were, it was 28 degrees and 65% humidity at about 7:30. Now, you can't tell me that's optimal conditions for football. I don't care where it is. I mean, look at that fucking Melbourne Heart game against Glory in fucking Albury when it was 40 degrees or whatever that game. Like, that's fucking shocking. This was just as bad. Gold Coast have played I think that's their 9th game there or 10th game there over the years.
Oh my God.
And they haven't lost a game there. It's our first time there.
Yeah.
Our first ever trip to Darwin. I know a lot of people that actually went over, so kudos to you guys, the old travelling saints, for at least going over. I would have liked to, but not to be. But
had the game happened about a month or so later, you probably would have, because now you just started working.
Yeah, exactly. Well, we've got Freo next weekend, I think, and then Sydney in a couple of weeks. So,
but now that you're working again, maybe next season you've got a lot of away trips you can do. The ones you haven't done, yeah.
Yeah, well, I'm still going to go to Geelong. So.
Oh, yeah.
But, no, look, I mean...
Could go to Sydney, to be fair.
I might, but we might end up doing a live. It's going to be a long weekend, so we might end up doing a live stream. We'll see. But gallant defeat, honourable loss, whatever you want to call it. But the kicker was the injuries. I mean, we're going to lose our best player for 3 weeks now. The injury list just came out. We've got another one who's out for a few. Not great reading, but it's next man up, and I think this year, especially that Carlton game, we've shown that we're a better side than we were last season in a lot of ways in terms of our strength and resilience and our depth. Having our own VFL side shows that, and that leads me to a little thing that happened on the Sunday. St Kilda beat Sandringham, their old affiliates at Sandringham at
the only team they can beat by the team is the team they used to be.
Yes, that's true. Yeah, at the old wind tunnel down at Sandringham, Puffer Jacket Park, as I call it. So Arctic Park, which is what they used to call Waverley back in the day.
You should have gone.
No, it was Mother's Day, man. So yeah. So Sunday lunch.
What do you mean? Your mum wouldn't have been all right with that?
No, they're going on Sunday.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, maybe
is your mum coming with you to the Richmond game?
Yeah. Mum and Ron are going to that game.
Can you imagine if you lose?
No.
They're going to be sitting there next to you, and you're going to be absolutely cursing your head off if you lose that game.
No, it's Richmond. I don't think we will. I really don't, but I really hope we don't also. But
you also said that player wasn't going to get injured.
Well, I said I hope he didn't get injured, but if he pulls up and he lines up, then good on him. But so they beat Sandringham, but it was a full blown Barney in terms of the Trevor Barker Cup, I think they called it, who was a great ex-Saints legend, and he coached Sandringham in the 90s to 2 premierships. He's no longer with us. A lot of people say in the 90s he would have been our next coach, like after Tony Lockett left. That's how revered he was in that club, and he was just, it's like those Premier League players that could easily go to other clubs but don't.
Yeah.
It's a great story, but the game had everything, plenty of goals, and fists were flying. One of our young guys, he got suspended for 2 weeks because he threw a few punches after the siren. That's how willing it was. It was just it was on, and there's so from the one camera that the AFL supply, your siren goes, and all of a sudden you just see there's fists flying, and it was.
Were you watching it on your phone?
No. I was out at Yumcha, but mates in our WhatsApp group showed us the footage, and one of them was actually at the game, so. And sort of relayed it, but I mean that wasn't the biggest surprise for me this week. And I mean the other thing I will say is Storm finally broke their 7-game losing streak or whatever, they're beating Balmain or West or whatever they're called, which
Tigers.
Who hasn't, so that was good. But the last thing I'm going to sort of talk about tonight is Carlton, because you heard me sort of go on about them the other week, and the most amazing thing happened today. They sacked, well, not sacked, their coach resigned.
Hang on. How can that be amazing? If you hate the club and you want them to lose and they sack or you resign, they might get better. So how can that be amazing for you?
Because they get what they deserve. It's they're going to call us in, talk back tonight, and vent. And if they lose to the Bulldogs on Friday night or whenever they play, they're going to do it again. It's going to be glorious.
Which you're going to be doing a good old hate watch of, I imagine.
Oh, most definitely. And that's, you make a good point, because it's often that rebound when teams get an interim coach that happens, and I mean who knows, but I just think they I know good Carlton people, and they probably would say, oh, you know, it's a lot fair way coming, and it was coming for weeks, and it probably was, and you know, 1-9 or whatever it is they are now, but for the fans that have mouthed off, and I said this 2 weeks ago, the fans that mouthed off about us all summer, when I said to you, you need to worry about your own side, and you know, don't worry about good old Saints living rent free in your heads every day. Worry about your own side, because you're on a precipice and it's coming quickly, and you've got a lot more problems than we do. That's why 2 of your best players and another stalwart legend of the club left. Did they listen? No. And the week before was just the climax of all of that, as I mentioned on the night, and this is just the icing on the cake with that little, you know, glacé cherry on top. It was just, you know, you knew it was coming eventually, and it was beautiful. So, yeah, you make your bed, Carlton. Now you lie in it. Also, don't get a really good coach, please, and start climbing up the ladder, because I don't think I could cope with that if we're in an injury sort of battle at the moment with good players out. So yeah.
And the fact that you have to play them later this season again, right?
But it's our home games. At least I'll be able to go.
Yeah,
at least I'll be able to go.
Yeah, but you'll be able to go.
Which will be good. But
yeah,
yeah, it'll be good. So I don't. I mean, as for us, I don't know what sort of crowd we'll get on Sunday against the Tigers, but you know, we've got Freo coming up next weekend on the Friday, and that's going to be really tough. You know, they're a great side. We don't play them too badly, I must say, but you know, the next few weeks, yeah, we've got Sydney coming up, and I think Hawthorn as well. After this week, it just gets even more difficult, tougher, and we're going to have to be up for it.
Yeah, fair enough. I mean, but yeah, that will wrap up. That will probably just about wrap up another episode. It's only been a short one today because of so little things to talk about. Just a quick note on the channel going forward, people, with the World Cup on the horizon. We're going to stop the tea breaks for the time being, just because it's getting difficult for us to kind of keep up with it as we both get used to working and stuff. In the next couple of months, it will figure itself out. But for now, between now and at least the end of the World Cup, the tea breaks kind of go. It might come back in a couple of weeks for one, because we will have 2 weeks, I believe, between the end of the football season and the beginning of the World Cup, and we'll be doing that review obviously the week before, the week of it starting, because I believe it starts on the 11th, so probably a couple of days before is when we'll release that World Cup, that big old World Cup review. Next week, because we're planning to potentially film as a video, or record a watch along, for that St Pauli Wolfsburg game, it might just replace the review, because let's face it, at that point there's not going to be an awful lot to talk about. It's really just going to be the Heidenheim game, and we'll keep an eye on the Heidenheim game anyway during that. So when we release that video a couple of days after, that will essentially be your review. So we'll be back, essentially, that's the next video we'll be recording. We'll probably have, as I said, 1 tea break, because we'll have a spare week where we've got time to do that one episode, but we can probably think about it before, and then the World Cup review, and then throughout the World Cup all our content's going to be pretty much centrically focused on what's been going on at the World Cup right up until the end of it, of course, and then we'll probably get back. Well, then it's pre-season, so then it might just still be 1 video a week of just tea breaks, and then it won't probably be back to 2 a week until the season starts again. Obviously during the World Cup we'll figure out how the schedule's going to work, because there's going to be games pretty much every day, of course, so like at least in the group stages, and you know, FIFA wants to basically add all 196 countries at this point, so we'll figure we'll figure it out essentially. Yeah, I mean, look, it's already getting ridiculous when Cape Verde are playing in this World Cup, Ben, but no offense to Cape Verde fans, but yeah,
I was going to say I'm looking forward to seeing San Marino in the Nations League by that point too, when the new season comes along. I think that's going to be fantastic, given it's about the only sort of high standard of tournament that they're going to be in for a while now. So, but as you were saying.
Yeah, that was basically it. The schedule of the World Cup will work itself out, people, so don't worry. Might just be a bit weird, but the idea is, at least until the new season starts, we're going to mostly likely be doing 1 video a week, just because we're still kind of getting used to that kind of work record balance, with the ages that we are, Ben 41, myself 32, like, I'm not making excuses for our age, but we're not young anymore.
Well, I was just going to say, mate, you've actually given me an extra couple of. I'm 43 coming up, so.
Oh, okay, sorry.
I'll take that.
Yeah.
Thank you.
But yeah, essentially, that's how it will go down for the next few months, essentially. So yeah, just stay tuned. It also means we can try and get the the uploads out on a slightly more regular basis, because we're not going to make any excuses about we were struggling. We weren't doing well enough really to get them out on a regular basis for the Monday, Thursday, so we need to kind of readjust that. But yeah, for now, it will kind of be, the Monday episode will be recorded on Tuesdays from now, so we'll try and get those out on Wednesday, Thursday latest, because sometimes all these tech issues. This is also just to allow the fact we can at least get one video out at some point during the week. So anyway, as always, thank you for watching another episode of the Bundesliga and A-League season review, people. We'll leave it there, and we'll be back with that big, massive recorded watch-along that we're going to do over that St Pauli game this coming weekend. So yeah, and then that will be out a couple of days later, replacing the review essentially, of next week. So yeah, stay tuned for that, people. But for now, we'll leave it here. So yeah, peace out, take care, and we'll see you guys in the next one next time. Bye.
Take care, guys.